Hey guys, Fletcher Shryock here, Major League Fishing Pro. I want to share with you something today that, I get asked a lot of questions about, and that's what speed of gear ratio do you guys want to use, for what bait, matching it up to the right bait. There's really three different speeds of gear ratios. You have a low speed, which is a 5:4:1. Abu Garcia has a name for that reel. It's called an Abu Garcia winch. Then you have what I would call the medium speeds, and that's the 6:4:1. And then you have what I'd call the high speed, and that's your 7, 8, or 9:1. Abu Garcia Revo Rocket has a 9:1. So there's three different speeds. Anytime I'm throwing a bait, that I'm moving the bait with the reel, like I'm throwing a chatterbait right here. I'm moving the bait with the reel. I'm gonna use a medium speed Abu Garcia reel. This is an Abu Garcia Revo ALX. Reason for that is I don't want to overwork the bait. If I'm using the 6:4:1 medium speed reel, I can't overwork that bait too fast. And obviously I still am able to pick up enough line and move this bait quickly if I need to. But whenever I switch over to a technique, let's say I'm going to be using my rod to do the movements. For example, this frog right here. I get that frog up there, it's in the strike zone, and I'm twitching the frog with my rod. Now I'm gonna switch over to the high speed reel, because whenever I go to bring that frog out, I wanna take up as much line as possible so I can make my next cast. And not only that, but I'm moving the rod, or moving the bait with my rod tip, not the reel. So I'm using that higher speed reel to take in as much line as I can. That way I can get the bait back and get it right back in the strike zone again, which is very important in the day. If you're fishing a frog or you're flipping and pitching, you want to make as many casts to the target throughout the day as you can. And not only that, if I do get a bite with this frog back in that heavy cover, I want a higher speed reel to get that big fish out of that cover, keep his head up and bring him to the boat. A lot of times I'm using heavy braid with this technique, and without a high speed reel, that fish may get me down in the cover and I may not catch that fish. And even with flipping and pitching, like I mentioned, if you think about the flipping technique, you're actually flipping the bait into the cover, letting it fall, and then I'm just simply working the bait with my rod once again. And then whenever I go to reel the bait out, I want to take up as much line as I can so I can make my next flip. If you're dragging a Carolina rig, if you're dragging a football jig offshore, whatever it is, if you're moving the bait with the rod, high speed gear ratio reel. The only time that I really use the Abu Garcia Revo winch, the slower speed gear ratio reel, is if I'm throwing big crankbaits, big swim baits. The winch offers a lot of leverage. I'm able to get a big crankbait to the bottom and grind it along the bottom, and you definitely don't want to work that bait too fast a lot of times, and that's when I'm going to slow down and use the 5:4:1 Abu Garcia winch. But most of the time I'm throwing the 6:4:1 and the 8:1 gear ratio Abu Garcia Revo ALX.